Hi, I'm Mark, and welcome to What's Brewing. In today's episode, we're sitting down with Timothy Sharlow with Tim's Kitchen for part one of his interview. But before we get into it, let's roll that beautiful B-roll. Tim, thank you so much for joining us today.
Mark, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So just in case people don't know who you are back home, tell them who you are and what you do.
My name is Timothy Sharlow. I'm one of the proprietors of Tim's Kitchen in Broussard, Louisiana.
Awesome. I know we got to sit down with you guys last year, you and your dad. And I definitely wanted to sit down just one-on-one with you to kind of like learn a little bit from your perspective, some of the history of Tim's Kitchen.
Sure, absolutely.
So let's start exactly with that. Tell me a little bit of the history of what it was like for you.
So I can only take you back to 1983.
Okay.
Because that's, that's when I was born. Despite the cultural basis of my grandmother, Miss Ruby Sharlow, which we'll get into the Ruby's restaurant side of how Tim's Kitchen came to be. Being in Church Point, Louisiana, my grandmother grew up in the farming community. I think it's impossible to grow up in South Louisiana in the 1930s and 40s and not be part of a farming community. And of course, the responsibility being the wife and the mother of 7 children is to have a kitchen prepared for that, that society. We fast forward a little bit to 1977, 78, my grandmother moves from Church Point, Louisiana to the north side of Lafayette. She gets a job working for the Diocese of Lafayette and becomes the cafeteria manager for a small school in Lafayette called Our Lady of Fatima. This is where I believe my grandmother refined the culture of her cooking, refined the process of her food. Not to get too deep, because I don't know where we're going with this conversation, but I don't want to go off cue too much. In 1991, it became the opportunity presented itself through one of my uncles, I believe was my oldest uncle, who financed my grandmother's first restaurant, Ruby's Restaurant, on January 2nd, 1991 on West Landry. The phone number was 337-235-2046. And
it's not opening anymore.
It's not, don't call that number. Thank you.
Thank you. Like, hey, Ginny, I got your number.
And that's where it all started. That's where it all began. I was 8 years old, actually 7 in 91. I turned 8 August of 91. My dad got a stool that was high enough for me to see over the register and had candy behind me. So the whole back wall was candy, Skittles, and of course, and my job was to sell candy at the point of checkout for people at 7 years old. That was my responsibility. Yep.
You watch that candy.
Yeah.
You take care of that candy.
I ate a lot of that candy.
So why are we down in sales today?
Oh, Tim has a cavity, by the way. Yeah, it's a lot of one-to-ones. But it created an entrepreneurial spirit within me that I credit my grandmother for giving me, really and truly. I don't think I've ever told her that. I should probably call her and tell her. She turned 85 3 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
2 weeks ago. July 12th, whenever that was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that was last week technically for us right now.
Yes.
But in the current, that was a few months ago.
Yeah, correct.
So now we got a little bit more of the history. I want, from your perspective, how has it been working within a generational business, like a family generational business? Because I know sometimes it can be amazing and sometimes it can be stressful. It's kind of the balance of what it is like with it.
It's been tough. It's been tough, but it's been fun. If everything we did as in the spirit of employment, take entrepreneurship out of it, the spirit of employment, if everything we did was just for fun, people would stop doing it. The problem with eternity is it lasts forever, right? It's the opportunity that you can stop doing something. It's that notion that something could come to an end that gives the thrill of victory, that level of that feeling.
Well, Tim, I definitely want to continue with another interview and kind of go a little bit more into not just what you do here at Tim's, but also what you do outside of Tim's.
Oh, sure.
And some of the things you do that way. But thank you very much for sitting down with us today. I do appreciate it.
My pleasure.
But that's going to do it for us here over at What's Brewing. If you like what you see here, don't forget to hit that like button, crush that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell for all the notifications. But until the next one, we will see you and have a good one.